What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday night. It is time for our live Q&A live stream that we do every Thursday at 8 p.m. Hey, buddy. As you will see, I am by myself, but only temporarily. I'm in Leslie's seat, and that's my seat over there. I will be moving back over there, and she'll be here in a few minutes. She had some things she needed to take care of. So, as of course we are, today's kind of a day off, right? Well, it's the most day off I've had in a long time. So it's been kind of nice. Anyway, we're going to do our normal Q&A thing. I have a couple of things I want to mention at the top of the show real quick. I made some notes. First of all, number one, we have no ads on any of our live streams. So if you want to support the channel, you are welcome to use a live super chat to do so. And also, if you want, you can just ask a question, put a bunch of question marks in front of it. Of course, Leslie's not here to catch them, so just make sure that you do that. Otherwise, I may not be able to catch everything. Okay, I'm going to try to do what I can. Oh, okay. I was like, what is this mark on my screen? And then Crazy Lazy Dave had a little gobble gobble turkey thing on there, and I was like trying to get this. It looked like a little dot on my screen. Anyway, so Leslie will be here in a bit. The other way you can support the channel is you can use the links in the description down below. That is something that we really care about. So all of the companies that support the channel are down there, and you can use those. There's a bunch of stuff that is related to guitar stuff, Sweetwater, Positive Grid, StewMac, all that kind of stuff. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that's not also 511 tactical clothing and fountain pen stuff and etc. So you can use all those as well. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we are having our first ever Black Friday sale, and if it keeps going like it's going, I will probably do it again because it's been really good. 20% off most everything on the website. There is a discount code for that. I think it's BF24. It's on the front page of the website, so you can't miss it. When you get to the website, Dylan Talks Tone, you'll see that coupon code there. It's for most things. There's some merch that it doesn't apply to, and then there's another section of the website that is 30% off just some custom one-off stuff, and you can't double up your discounts there. So it's kind of one or the other, but if you buy one of each, it'll work it out. The internet's pretty smart. So that works pretty awesome. The other thing, that sale is going to go through Saturday, which is Small Business Saturday. This is something I always like to mention to people, even if it's not just me. I would really appreciate it if you could come to Dylan Talks Tone over the next couple of days and make a purchase. Even if it's not pickups, even if it's some swag, like a bottle opener for $10 or some pots or some wire or some whatever. And if it's not me, make sure that it's somebody else. Make sure that you go and support not just Sweetwater and all those places on this shopping weekend, but that you support some small businesses that you care about, that you appreciate. I've done I wasn't really in the mood to buy, a pocket knife, but I did because I wanted to support the company. So, that sort of thing. So make sure that you do that this weekend, whether it's me or somebody else. If it's not me, that's fine. I know that you all support us in various ways, so I appreciate you either way. And then the other thing is there will be a live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be basically my favorite Black Friday stuff. And we're going to do it the same way we do this one. We're going to go through all the guitar related stuff first, and then we're going to switch to off topic. So if you're not into the off topic stuff, either watch it afterwards or show up at 10 o'clock Eastern time and watch it with me. And then you can just dip out whenever you want. So yeah, super cool, super fun stuff. I got a bunch of stuff going there. We've got a bunch of questions, or a few questions anyway, that came in through Patreon tonight. I know that it's probably a little limited in the amount of folks that are watching tonight because there's football and there's family and there's whatever, but I very much appreciate you all being here tonight. Let's see. We've got a couple of super chats to catch up on. We've got Van Shank Guitars, ad-free for everyone. Thank you so much. And we've also got Charles Wallace saying ad free. So thank you. All right. And actually, what another interesting thing would be is to get in the comments and tell us tonight what small businesses you think you might be supporting this weekend. Even if it's not me, because that would be fun, because then it would give us ideas, because we might forget about, this place that sells something. Like I'd mentioned Runway Audio cables, right? Like you can get Runway Audio stuff from me, but also check out their website. That's somebody that I would mention. Very cool. Also, if you are on Patreon, make sure that you keep your eyes out for some pretty big announcements and stuff that's going on Patreon over the next couple of weeks. A little bit of early notification of some pretty cool stuff coming. So that's all I'm going to say about that for now. Let's go ahead and get into our Patreon questions this evening. The very first one is the subject of our thumbnail. Happy Thanksgiving, Leslie, Brianna, and Dylan. What are your thoughts on the newly announced Gibson 59 Humbucker Collector's Edition Series 2 pickups? Per Gibson.com, Alnico 2, 42 gauge with plain enamel insulation, unpotted, resistance 7.8, and bridge 8.7, which is a little higher than I would have assumed doing it that way. Well, here's what I think about this. They're $1,000. And they come with the pickup rings, because the reason they come with the pickup rings is the vintage style covers have a little bit different radiuses on the corners. So if you're wondering why they come with pickup rings, that's why. The threads of the screws are a little bit different through the base plate, as well as those radiuses around the corners of the pickup covers. The ones we use are very similar, but not exactly the same. And so, pretty interesting stuff. So here's the thing. Let's see. We got a super chat from Jeffrey Egan. Glad to have a night off and catch the live. Thanks, Jeffrey Egan. Yeah, because we don't get to see you very much lately, because you have to work on Thursdays, don't you? Okay, so here's what I would say about that. Matthew Altamere mentions Runway Audio is doing 20% off too. And actually, if you go to our website, I think that goes through. So if you go to Dylan Talks Tone right now to order one of our cables, let's just check this really quick. Sorry to get sidetracked by that, but I think this is pretty neat the way this works. Let's see real quick. Yes, I believe that cable is on our stuff. His stuff is on sale on our website, which is pretty neat, the way the websites collaborate together and work. So that's pretty cool. All right, so talking about this this $1,000 set of pickups. Obviously nobody needs them. There's a lot of people, including us, who make a really good PAF replacement, right? And I think it's cool that they're doing it. Does anybody need them? No, I don't think so. I think that if you buy a set of DAFs from us, you're going to get a great sounding set of PAF style pickups, and it's not going to cost you $1,000, right? That being said, in certain circumstances, for certain people, the collectability and the accuracy of that thing can be important. I mean, I get it. There are certain things that I would buy and spend extra money for. I'm trying to think. Historical accuracy is a thing, right? Like if you want the thing, I know they're reproductions, but they're by the company that made them in the first place. So they're the ones that are going to get them the closest. Are they going to sound better? Are they going to sound different? Maybe a little. But the point is the collectability of it. The point is just to say you can have them. And I think that's cool. I think, again, cool stuff is cool and cool stuff costs money, right? We know this. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm looking over there. I'm looking at my knife collection, and I've got a couple of knives over there that are vintage, and I spent a little extra for them because I wanted the ones that were the ones, right? You want it to be right. Does it really matter? Not really. Am I going to spend that? No, because I have the resources to make my own, and you have the resources probably more readily available to get stuff like from us or stuff from even Seymour Duncan Antiquities are good. There's a lot of places that make that stuff accurately. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to talk a lot of trash about it because they think it's dumb to spend $1,000 on a set of pickups. But those folks probably think it's dumb to spend $1,000 on anything. Those are the same folks who think it's dumb to spend $1,000 on a guitar. Figure of speech. Okay. It could be any number. It could be $1,000. It could be $2,500. It could be $500. It doesn't matter. Figure of speech. But that's different for everybody. And I think everybody's willingness to have the thing that makes, that what does James May on Top Gear say? It gives them the fizz, right? Like if $1,000 set of pickups gives you the fizz, buy them. I've got an expensive pocket knife or 30, but I've one in particular that I love it. And I'm glad I paid for it. I'm glad I got the thing. There's nothing like it. It's the original frame lock. It's the original, it's a Chris Reeves Sabenza. So it's the thing. It's the thing that other knives are trying to be. And the only way to get it is to spend the money and get the real one. And so, and you might say, well, that's way too much money for a pocket knife. Well, that's okay. That's totally fine. It isn't too much money for me. I think it's cool. It's something that I saved up for it and I bought it and I think it's awesome. So if you do that with $1,000 set of pickups, Zeba, come. Hey, get out from behind there. You cannot unplug anything and you can't drink any alcohol. It's behind the bar right there. He's like trying to, good boy, buddy. Yeah. So, I think it's all relative, obviously, but I think here's what I'll say. You're buying coolness when you buy stuff like that. It's just like a custom shop Les Paul, you're buying something very cool. A custom shop Strat, you're buying something very cool. If you think it's cool. I think it's cool. Would I buy a custom shop Strat or a custom shop Les Paul? Absolutely. Would I buy those custom shop pickups? Probably not, because I don't think they're as cool. But I'm a pickup guy. So, yeah, I think it just kind of goes every which way. I think the people that are going to make a bunch of noise about it and think it's stupid and whatever, they think lots of stuff is stupid and that's not where I spend my brain. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let's cruise back here and get some of these. Well, here, let me run through a couple. We've got a couple other Patreon questions and then we'll start kicking into the, so keep leaving questions. And then we'll go back. What we'll do is we'll go back and discuss this because I know there's people in the comments that are discussing it. Jay says, I'm wondering about your thoughts on the StewMac wiring monster. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. I've made a note to look at this before we started this show, and I completely and utterly spaced it. And I think I know what you're talking about, but I want to be sure. So I think that it's cool, but there are, in my opinion, better, there's better ones. I think actually on our Amazon store, we've got the ones that come on a magnetic plate. It's a bunch of soldering arm things. It's a yellow cast iron plate with some magnets and some bendy things and some alligator clips, and it's very modular and it works really, really well. And it's way cheaper than that by probably $150. So that's what I would go for instead if it was me. But you do you. I think that thing is cool, but I think that you can get a more economical one. That's one of the StewMac things that personally I wouldn't buy. But yeah, there you go. Let's see. We've got another one here. Zoltan says, hey, Leslie and Dylan, thanks for being with us even today. It's been about a year since my TTG Challenger L4, level 4, moved from the dry atmosphere of Colorado to Brussels, Belgium, where the humidity fluctuates violently from dry to very humid. I've had to adjust the neck relief 5 or 6 times already. Do you think it will settle in someday, or shall I keep adjusting it every other month? My maple necks are less fiddly, but this open pore mahogany with the 73 finish a la Chris Fesker. Okay, Zoltan, I'm going to tell you that I think that mahogany is worse about this than maple is going to inherently be more stable than mahogany. Stable. Same because of what you said. Open pore finish, the wood it's going to move more. Mahogany always does. Even when you adjust the neck relief on mahogany, it will swing more, if that makes sense. Like if you move it this much, it'll move a little more or a little less, depending on the age of it. Will it settle in? Maybe. I think that if your humidity swings wildly, your guitar will swing wildly. It's just kind of how it is. And mahogany is going to be, you're right to notice that mahogany is worse than maple. It's definitely for sure. I would say that for sure. Yeah, let's see. Let's go. Steve Rezer, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hey, Dylan, can you custom engrave an all metal opener, like a bottle opener? Yeah, absolutely. We have them. Are actually the all metal bottle openers are what is taking over the website. We only have a couple of the leatherette ones left. Let's see. These are $1,400 pickups. Yes, in Canadian money. Let's see. Just got off work. Let's see. Going down through here. Seeing if there's any other questions. No TTG video tonight? Yeah, I would assume that they took the night off. Yeah, I would assume they took the night off. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going down. Of course, I have to do this by myself. So, puppy sighting in the background. Yeah, he's back there. He's sitting there chewing on a bone. Leslie is busy cooking the veggie turkey. No, actually, no, she did not cook. She did not cook. We're not big, Thanksgiving people, obviously. So, yeah. How much routing depth is necessary to accommodate a long leg humbucker in a Telecaster? Ooh, okay. So I think the dimensions on the long leg ones, the short leg ones are 6.5 millimeters from the base plate. So the leg length is 6.5, and I want to say the long ones are 12 to 15 millimeters below. So your average pickup depth is like 5/8 of an inch or 625 thousandths. I'm pretty sure that's what most of them are. Like for a P90 or something, or for a humbucker, and then it's got the little ears that go down. But then you have to go another 12 or 15 millimeters below that. So that's where you're gonna go. I know for sure that my routing, the pickup base plates that we use are the short leg ones, so that we don't have to deal with this for most builds. And they're 6.35 millimeters deep. And the deep ones, I think, are 15. I think. If I've got that wrong, it's somewhere in there. Yeah. If you have two Strat pickups, both at 6.5K, and one is 43 gauge and one is 42 gauge, what is the expected tonal difference since inductance will be different? Okay, that's a good question. So if you have the same resistance, but one is 43 and one is 42, that means that your wind count is going to be wildly different. So everything being the same, as far as coil size, magnet length, magnet strength, all that stuff, insulation thickness on the wire. So if we're dealing with single build on both wires, the difference in sound is going to be that the net output may be very similar, but the one with 42 gauge wire may sound louder because it will have a probably wider dynamic range. It will be a little lower output, actually, probably. And it will have lower capacitance, probably. Yeah. There you go. That's just off the top of my head. I would have to sit and think about it for a while. What Thanksgiving food did y'all enjoy? We don't really do Thanksgiving, obviously. I'm Native American, so I'm thankful for stuff. Just I'm not thankful for Thanksgiving. That being said, this is an old fashioned, and I just made this about 5 minutes before. I didn't eat a whole lot today. We had some mashed potatoes. We had some stuff, but we don't really do that stuff. And all the vegetable turkey jokes. Yeah, we don't do any of that stuff. You should buy the $1,000 Gibson pickups and tear them apart. We all need to know. There's no need to. I know the guy who designed them. I mean, who designed the redesign, like the reissue. I have 100% confidence that they're real and proper and good. And the time and effort that they put into developing them was not just whip out a copy. I know for sure that the time and effort that they put into them is part of the reason why they're so expensive. I firmly believe that. And to be fair, there are a lot of pickups that should be much more expensive than they are. Based on the amount of research and development, the type of parts, the type of materials that's in them. Plain enamel pickups should be almost twice what any other pickup costs. End of story. The end. If you look at the economy of parts cost, if my DAFs are, what are they, $270 a pair, then those pickups need to at least be $600 based just on the wire. And nobody charges that much for them, but the economics of it says that they should. You as guitar players will never pay it, so that's why nobody charges it. But honestly, that's what they should cost, because that wire is expensive. It's at least twice as much. Yeah, Robbie's saying that he thinks that a lot of them won't even go in guitars. And you may be right about that. They may be just a collector thing. Seba, you need to get back in your bed. Hey. Dude. So here's the problem. Everybody took naps today, like all of us, including the dogs. And so we tried to like run the energy out of them before Leslie and Brianna left to go do what they were going to do and get them all worn out so that he would be cool by the time we started the live stream. And it's kind of worked, but not totally. Let's see. I'm going to keep going here. I'd be very interested to see if anyone can hear difference between an original PAF or the copies, price notwithstanding. I'm sure you can. I'm sure. In fact, I know that the materials aren't the same, so they would have to design around that. The plain enamel that they used in the 50s is not the same as the plain enamel that we can get now, because there are some carcinogenic materials in the insulation of plain enamel wire that make it to where they can't sell it anymore. Hey, dude. Come here. Hey, buddy. Come here. You're a good boy. So they know, we know that they're going to be a little bit different. Yeah. Do you have any Falknevens? No, I do not. There were a lot of variations in PAFs. Yeah. The whole PAF thing is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, I get why people get into it. I think it's really cool. I love historically accurate stuff. I love, like I said earlier, I love having the right thing and having the real thing. But when it comes to reproducing stuff, and when it comes to, is this sound as good as that? You kind of just have to let each thing exist on its own in its own world. And if it does what you want it to do, then you just let it do what it wants to do. The whole comparison thing, I know why Don said that. Don makes pickups too. So I understand the whole, does this sound the same as the old one? Would anybody actually be able to tell the difference for $1,000? I don't think that's the point. That's not the point. The point's the collector part of it. And the point is the R&D and the time and the effort that they go into making them. And Gibson has the heritage that they can do that. And I'm okay with it. Everybody does that, who has any kind of time in business. Is it 100 years? Is Buck 100 years this year? Or 75 years or something? Buck has some kind of, Buck knives, like the Buck 110 folding hunter, has some kind of anniversary this year. I can't remember how many years it is, but they have an anniversary knife. So the Buck 110, the one everybody knows, right? The lockback knife. Everybody knows that knife. It's the standard for what a hunting folder is, right? We all know it. There's like $65. The 100th anniversary, whatever anniversary one it is, I think is $250. And it's got a different blade steel, and it's got some engraving on it, and it's a little limited, and it's whatever, but it's the same thing. In the long and the short of it is, it's a Buck 110. Does it have a little better edge retention? Yeah, but it's a collector's item, so nobody's going to be hunting with it. Kind of like these pickups, like was mentioned. So the heritage of the company means that these companies can do this, where they can say, this is going to be a limited edition thing. We're going to charge more for it, and people are going to want it just because it's cool. When we did our 10th anniversary pickups, we charged an extra $100. And we made them cool, and we made them real special, and they were awesome. And we sold them out almost immediately. But we didn't do that many of them because I knew that my audience is not Buck 110 audience. I know that my audience is not Gibson audience. I want them to be limited and special enough, and charge more because it took some time and some effort and some to put into them. But make it to where that the people that got them appreciated them and nobody else. And I think when a company does that, I think it's really cool. It has nothing to do with the tone, to tell you the truth. It has to do with the history and the love for the brand. I think that's really important. Did you get my email about the video clip and the pickup mention? I did, and I commented on that video. Thanks for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. Let's see. What bourbon? I think it's some Redemption Rye or something. I don't know. I'm not. It's whatever I had. I usually am a little bit more picky about my ryes, but we play poker here every Wednesday night, and we trade with I've traded with another guy. And so I had my daughter go to the store and get a bunch of stuff. So she just got some, how do you want to say, more disposable stuff. But in the context of pickup manufacturing, are material and input costs really that relevant? Isn't the cost more associated with the labor and the R&D? You would be surprised. You'd be surprised. I'll tell you right now that the wire in your pickups has gone up 20% in the last 3 months. It's a lot. And not to get into politics, I don't talk about politics on this channel, but I'll just say in the United States, over the next few months, we may see some fluctuation, we'll call it, in various materials. I mean, we're going to see it. And so is it going to come through to you? Yep, it's gonna, because, hey, buddy, because I can only absorb so much. Material cost is a big deal, especially when you start to look at what people don't realize is it's all metal. Okay. So when we start looking at, and it's all precious, not precious metal, but it's definitely not, it's not steel, you know? When we're talking about nickel, when we're talking about copper, those are the two big ones. Between nickel and copper, and when you look at the gauges of wire that we're dealing with and the cost to us to manufacture them, it's not nothing. You know, it's not nothing. It is definitely we're gonna feel it if costs change, for sure. Did Gibson keep better records and QC control over their pickups compared to Fender back in the day? I don't know the answer to that. I know that there are a lot of notes on both accounts. I know that Fender has actually done a very good job of that. They have a notebook, like a big book of basically all of their recipes. Speaking about cost stuff, did you see that stuff with JHS pedals this week? A lot of people don't understand the cost of doing business. Oh, for sure. I didn't watch that video. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. But Buck has been around since 1902. Okay. I've not gotten a chance to watch it, but I can imagine the idea behind it. People don't understand cost of doing business. They don't. It is, it's crazy. The level of, well, when you look at, okay, let's say this, right? We make about 200 pickups a month, something like that. It's right around there. And it takes me, call it 40 minutes. If I were to make a Strat pickup from beginning to end, pressing, lasering, okay, so probably, okay, we'll call it an hour, I guess. From beginning to end. Now, this is not how we manufacture stuff. We do everything in batches, right? We do everything, we do like tons at a time of each step. So, but I buy the phenolic material for the flat work in 4x8 sheets. Okay. And I have a laser. Laser is $8,000. Okay. The time to do all the drawings, to make all the stuff. Okay. So all that's, let's set all that stuff aside. If you tell me right now, I want a Strat pickup, it'll take me probably an hour. If I were to go out in the garage, grab some flat work, put it in the laser, cut the flat work, come in here, press the bobbin together with the magnets, put it on the machine, wind it. I would also have to press the eyelets in, wind it, magnetize it, solder the leads on it, wax pot it, package it, and put it into the box. It would probably take me about an hour to do that with one pickup. And you're like, well, that's not that much. It's $100. So, and people would say, well, there's only $15 worth of parts into a Strat pickup. What people don't understand is the infrastructure that is required to do that at scale. Okay. So now if you start to zoom out, every business there are, first of all, there's unseen costs. Second of all, first of all, there's taxes, right? So let's just take 50% off of the top right there. And then the next thing is freight to get the parts here. So if a roll costs a certain amount of money, which is a variable, because you also have to remember too that the materials that we use to build pickups they're a variable. It's like oil, right? Everything's kind of cost variable, but there are certain things, metals, petroleums, things like that, where the market will, granted it lags. So if there's something happened 6 months ago, I'm just now feeling it in copper. So it lags a little bit, but it does catch up. And so now you have this up and down of costs, right? So there's that. So you have to plan on that over a year or a 2-year period. There's the development time of every pickup, which is hours and hours and hours and days and days and days and days and weeks that aren't counted on the clock. Okay. So, a lot of that stuff I do outside business hours. We work on pickups and we shoot videos within business hours. That's what we do. So if I have to draw up a new set of flat work for the laser, that's at 10 o'clock at night while I'm watching Netflix. That's at 6 a.m. when the dog gets me up to pee. And then I'm like, oh, hey, I need to start the coffee and start drawing some laser stuff. $8,000 for a laser and all the associated setup. My power bill has quadrupled since I bought my 2 lasers. Because I have another laser for doing covers and all the other custom stuff. So, you start to really zoom out about this and you go, holy smokes. Like, yeah, we're making 200 pickups a month, and you might do the math real quick and think, oh, that's a lot of money. But the infrastructure, if I were to break that down to per hour, I'm making minimum wage, number one. And number two, I am also, the profit in it goes away every year because there is a market cap on what people can charge for stuff. Pedals, actually, I feel like they have been doing this over the last 10 years. They're just getting more expensive. Pickups haven't. Boutique pickups haven't gotten more expensive. I know, because I've been doing it for 11 years and we've only ever raised prices twice. When we started out, our humbuckers were $129 and now they are $149 for the most expensive ones. So in 11 years, so that's the thing. It's a pretty interesting kind of concept to think about. Let's see. And I know a lot of people will look at the cost of something and be like, because here's what happens is because a person is unwilling to spend the money on a thing, they will do a couple things. One, they will not put the time into understanding that thing and why it costs that much. And then they will immediately dismiss the reason for it to cost that much. But when you really start to do the research and start to have an appreciation, I will tell you, and I know that there's folks in the comments that have come to my pickup winding classes, and we've taught them to wind pickups. And I know Don, for example, he went on to start winding his own, and he's got his own business and he's doing it, and it's awesome. But most folks, he's the only one that I can think of. Out of the 60 or 70 people that we've taught to wind pickups, most folks will pretty much unequivocally say, okay, this is too hard and it's a pain in the butt, and I'll just buy them from you. Because they understand. Once you start to really understand what it takes to make a thing, making hard goods in the United States in 2024 is very difficult. It is very difficult. And I am proud and grateful to be able to make a living doing it because it is difficult. You can scale up a piece of software. We can scale up a YouTube video, but to take a hard good, to make a thing and put it out into the marketplace and make a living with it is very difficult in 2024 in the United States. Especially if you are not just importing stuff and throwing it into the marketplace. It's hard to do. And again, this doesn't have anything to do with politics as much as it is my personal values, like what I want to do. I want to make a thing and I want to sell it to you. If I wanted to develop an app and put it on the App Store, I would do that. But I don't. I want to make a thing and I want to sell it to you. And I want it to have my name on it, and I want to be proud of it, and I want you to be proud of it, and I want to make you smile when you slam an E-cord standing in front of a stack of Marshalls or in front of a Positive Grid Spark. Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want you to smile when you slam that E-cord. That's all I care. That's what I'm here for. And so it's just if I dedicate myself to doing that, it is expensive to do that, and risky. Super risky when it comes down to it. Yeah, cost of running the lasers, dude. It surprised me the first time. Yeah, man. Super cool. I get the collector thing and the restoration thing, but not a practical thing in modern Gibsons. So many more affordable and practical pickups out there for modern guitars, but to each their own. Well, so that's the thing. That's the thing. People, and this is not a dig on you, Steve. I don't want to call you out specifically on this, but because you made this comment, let's just talk about it for a minute. Human beings have a tendency to look at what applies to them and think that nothing else should exist. I don't know why we do it. We all do it to some extent, right? And it takes effort to not do that. In my business and being on the internet all the time and being on YouTube and stuff, I try to really put a lot of effort into being like, okay, if this person sees something differently than me, why do they see that? There has to be a reason. And even if I don't agree with the reason, what is the reason? Well, it's because they think Gibsons are really cool. And they have a bunch of custom shop guitars and they want it to take it to the next level. And chances are they probably don't even play that well, or they probably don't tour, or they don't have a real justified reason for it. But who cares? It doesn't matter. In a hobby, any hobby, the idea of said hobby is for your mental health. It's to enjoy something so that you can not think about the other things in life that, might stress you out or whatever. Right? So, if I go to the range and I shoot for a half an hour, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about work. If I sit here tonight, because I probably will, I'll sit here and, sharpen a knife while I'm watching a YouTube video, not thinking about work. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. And so if this person can be excited about this thing so they don't have to worry about whatever else is going on in their life, that's what it's for. It has nothing to do with tone. I think 99% of why we do what we do has something to do with something other than tone. I know this channel is called Dylan Talks Tone, and we talk about how we make sounds, but I firmly believe that people concentrate on tone way too much. It's the other intangibles. You're not going to actually be able to tell the difference, so therefore it's not worth it. You're wrong. If you look at it that way, then you are not playing guitar for the right reasons. Or maybe, okay, you're not wrong because, again, like I just said, you have a different perspective than I do. And I'm okay with that. But if you feel that, let's just say this, if you feel that way, then you play guitar for different reasons than I do. And probably different reasons than most people do. And you're probably in the minority of people that play guitar. Most people who play guitar or have any hobby do it because they think it's cool, and they buy cool stuff because they think cool stuff is cool. It's not about tone. Well, how does it affect the tone? Who cares? It doesn't matter. If you don't like it, you're going to suck anyway. So if the guitar is the wrong color, if the guitar is the wrong body shape, if the guitar feels cheap, if the guitar is too heavy, if it's too light, if it's, if you just don't like it and you can't connect with it. We've all heard people say that. I just couldn't connect with it. It's because you didn't like it. It has nothing to do with the tone. But if you can't connect with it, you're never going to sound good. So the tone is the result of all the other stuff that matters way more than it. It's like we're looking at it backwards or something. Let's see. I'm super glad I'm not making my living from my guitar business. I do it because I love it. It's never going to pay the bills for me, and I'm totally okay with that. Yeah, man. It's a... yeah, I'm kind of weird about this. I'm kind of weird like this. A lot of people say, if you've heard that whole saying about like, if you do something that you love, then you'll never work a day in your life. That's a total lie. First of all, it's all work. You have to work. You have to put in the work. The difference between a lot of people and somebody like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or me is that I get up earlier in the morning and I stay up later. End of story. They get up earlier in the morning and they stay up later. They make sacrifices in their life to do what they need to do. And it's just a thing. But that being said, and then the other thing is that people will say, well, don't do something that you love, because the opposite of that is don't do something that you love, because then all of a sudden it's not a hobby anymore. It's a business. It's a job. And it ruins the hobby that you had, or it ruins the thing that you loved. But my mind is different. It doesn't work like that. This is personally my brain. My brain is, I get more satisfaction and fulfillment out of making you slam an E chord and feel good about it than anything else. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the money, because the money will follow it. So I don't really worry about that. I don't care about the lifestyle. I don't care about the YouTube stuff. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is, if you order a pickup on Monday, you get it, whenever you get it, you put it in your guitar and you leave a review that says, this thing is awesome and I'm so stoked. It's not the fact that you left the review to give me the kudos and I have some sort of click on that. It's the fact that I made a person happy. And that is really fulfilling for me. The last business that I owned, well, a couple of businesses ago that I owned, when I was in the power sports industry, it was the same way. Some kid would call on a Monday and be like, I have a race Saturday and this $80 thing, I need it so I can win, which is not the case. It's not going to make the guy faster. Maybe it would, but most of the time it's a thing that is a contributing factor. And he'd buy this $80 part, he'd get it on his bike, and he'd go out and he'd come in third instead of fifth. And he would call me on Monday and be like, dude, it totally helped. That's the reason why we do it. That's the reason why I do it. So there you go. Super chat from Doc. Cheers. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your super chat. Let's see. Streaming music killed the music industry. Back to playing covers at the mall for $200. Streaming music is interesting because the payment structure for the artist sucks. But the ability to be able to market your product as a musician has never been better. if you look at some of the guys out there that are doing really well right now, they are there because they are able to control their own marketing. I feel very strongly about this because this is how I make a living, right? Like I control all my own marketing. I've never paid for advertising because I was like, this is why I get up in the morning and this is why I stay up later, because this is why I do what I do, because this is how I have to stay alive. And yes, the streaming side it sucks for the artist, but the nature of independence in the music industry has really helped artists. I think they've really been able to make more money. Not more money, but have more control over the money that they make. You look at somebody like Jelly Roll, for example, right? Like his voice is incredible and he's an amazing songwriter. And he has done everything basically until very recently himself. And he's been able to market himself. How? Social media. Now he's writing songs for other people. Now he's doing all kinds of stuff for other people, right? He is one example. There's many, 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 many examples. Billie Eilish, wrote her songs in her bedroom with her brother. Like, I think those things are a result of how we make music now. And I know that a lot of diehard guitar players will turn their noses up at remarks like that and at artists like that, but they don't understand how real life works in 2024. And I'm happy for it. I'm here for it. I would support it. I would help other people. I'm actually working on a thing right now, collaborating with somebody else, some other small businesses, to promote some stuff. That in the very near future you'll hear about it. But the idea is to take control of our own destiny, and to do something that we couldn't do, being controlled by the bigger marketing media and arm of all that stuff. I've gone to multiple concerts to see artists that I would never discovered without streaming services. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Passion is paramount. No, that is totally true. What do you think about the fact that Spotify just became profitable last year? Do you think there will be a time post Spotify where we'll lose our digital libraries? I don't know. I don't know enough about the business side, that side of that. What I know is the conversations that I've had with artists themselves and how it has affected their distribution. So I got a bunch of friends like in, 90s, 2000s and 2010s rock bands. Who could I tell you? Let's see, like Saving Abel, for example. Scott's a friend of mine, and he's talked to me a lot about how all that works. And basically the way people make money now is they tour. They just have to keep gigging. That's why you'll see a lot of those 90s and 2000s and 2010s bands just gigging and gigging and gigging and gigging because that's how they have to survive now. Let's see. Tone, what is just marketing? Pretty much. Charles, my Dylan custom still amazes me every time I play it. Sound, feel, and the whole experience is amazing. Thanks. Thank you, man. I missed this. Hey guys, do the springs in a tremolo Strat affect the Stratocaster pickups in non-shielded guitars since their magnetic field also emanates downward and the springs are grounded? No. There will be nothing that will affect anything outside of about 1/4 of an inch. So, the whole magnetic field thing is a bit of a misnomer because what's actually happening is you're magnetizing the strings. And as you magnetize the strings, or as you move further away from the dipole moment, which that's the technical term for the very center of the top of the rod magnet is the strongest point of magnetism. It can engage the strongest magnetic field. And then as you move away from the end of the pickup, it drops off exponentially. We showed you this in a video a few months ago where we took a Gauss meter and we moved it slowly away from the top of the pickup, and you could see the strength just completely fall off. And so people that think that the magnetic field is affected by all this crazy stuff, it just doesn't. A Telecaster bridge does not affect the magnetic field of a Telecaster bridge pickup. The tremolo does not affect the magnetic field. And magnetic field and grounding don't have anything to do with each other. Okay. Grounding is electrical. Magnetic field is the magnetic field. It's a different thing. They don't affect each other. In this conversation, what we're talking about here, they don't affect it. Obviously, when you the pickup has to be grounded for inductance to take place in the coil because the coil has to be grounded on one side. But grounding has nothing to do with tone. I'm just going to say that. Grounding has nothing to do with tone. As long as the solder joints are good, it has nothing to do with tone. It just doesn't. The magnetic field has something to do with tone for about 1/4 of an inch. That's it. And that's end on, not sideways. Okay, so if you think about a Telecaster bridge pickup sticking through the bridge, the poles are going this way, not this way, right? The magnetic field does not extend out very far. In fact, it barely extends out past the edge of the coil. And the inductance that happens within the coil could be affected by eddy currents if there was a flat surface perpendicular to the magnetic field, the magnetic pole direction, like the base plate. But there isn't. It's broken up. The minute you break it up with any kind of air gap, it goes away. So yeah, all of that stuff is really kind of overstated. Now, there are a lot of folks that you could talk to an engineer, which I mean, I am one. This is what I do. And for those of you who don't know, I'm not like a YouTube pro. This is like, I went to school for this. This is my real job. Like, this is my real job before I had a YouTube channel. Like, electronics has been my thing since I was 17. So, yeah. I miss pre-internet era when people just played and didn't care about circuits and tone woods and argue endlessly about it. I agree. 100%. That was kind of the point of the podcast the other day, about comparing guitars. Like I remember when every store had like 5 models in it and you just picked the one that was cool. Or honestly, you literally picked a guitar based on what music you're going to play. If you're going to play metal, you're going to get a BC Rich or a Kramer or something, right? Something pointy, right? And if you were going to play Led Zeppelin, you were going to get a Les Paul. And if you were going to play blues or Clapton or, because it's not the same, or Stevie Ray or something, you're going to get a Strat, or Robert Cray, or what, you were going to get a Strat. Like, if you're going to play AC/DC, you were going to get, an SG. And jazz people played whatever they played because they're weird. Like, they played, their straps were way shorter. Like, it wasn't that big a deal. And you just played it. I think the import guitar, honestly, I think Fender messed it up. I think Fender injecting so many submodels into the market, and Gretsch is Fender. Like, I think this whole idea of having, I love the idea of having a guitar for every budget. I love it. So if you can afford, if you can only afford a $250 guitar or $300 guitar, then you buy, the Affinity or the whatever that level is. If you can afford a classic vibe, if you can afford a Mexican Strat, if you can, a Mexican guitar, if you can afford a, whatever the lowest American one is, or if you can go all the way up to an Ultra 2 or a American Pro 2, Vintage 2, or a custom shop, they're all basically the same experience, right? There is no better or worse. The metallurgy of Chinesium is worse, right? Like, so the frets are worse and the bridges suck and like whatever. But the guitar is good. It works. It functions, and it gives you the experience of having a Telecaster or a Stratocaster or a Jazzmaster or whatever. And so there's no reason to compare any of it. You just buy the best one you can afford. Is this one just as good as this one? No, who cares? It doesn't matter. Are you just as good as it? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. I used to buy guitars and I'd pick it up based on looks and if it sounded and felt cool. To tell you the truth, I do the same thing these days. I feel that this is my entire, I don't know. We need to get into off topic hour because it's after 9:00. But I'm going to give you this. Here's how I buy guitars. I trust that the brand did their best to give me the product that they intended to make. Whether it's that pink Hello Kitty guitar right there, whether it's that, what is that thing about $1,000, that Schecter, or this Les Paul. Okay? I trust that within that market space and at that price point, that brand did their best to give me the product that they tried to represent at that price point and at that product. And when I get it, if there's a physical problem with it, I return it. If there's not a physical problem with it, I keep it. If it is cool, I keep it. If I don't end up liking it, I sell it. I don't compare it to another guitar because it's not another guitar. Fender wanted to hit a $500 price point with the Hello Kitty guitar. They had licensing issues. They had some bits and bobs that they put on there and a nice case and whatever, and they wanted to hit $500, and they did. They hit it. That was the intention. It's a good product. I think it's awesome. I'm going to keep it. End of story. $1,000 for the MGK guitar over here. Same exact thing. They hit the mark. $3,200 over here for this Les Paul. Absolutely. They hit the mark. If any of those guitars weren't right, I would just return them. Okay. It is time for off topic hour. Hey, buddy. It's okay. That's fine. I don't know, because he's happy that you came home. So we are just about to switch over to off topic. I'm late because we were having fun talking about other stuff. Yeah. I'll switch with you.
Look at his cute face. Look at his cute face.
Hey, bud.
I like holding him like a baby.
That's because he's fun.
He's so heavy.
He is getting heavy. He is, I weighed him last night and he's 39 pounds.
He feels it.
So, this is off topic hour. And what we're going to do is you can ask any question you want as long as it doesn't have anything to do with guitars, and we will probably answer it. If you have a guitar question, you have to use a super chat after 9 o'clock. That's how this works. And we will go for as long as people have cool questions.
Nothing's there already, though.
No, I haven't. I've just been going like real time because I didn't have you to like, because I can't like talk and go and talk and go. So
You've just been talking.
I've just been talking and grabbing questions and going. So oh, there's a super chat.
Oh,
We'll let Leslie get caught
there
up here real
sound?
quick. Yep, right there. You won't hear it though.
it's back.
Yeah, it's back.
All right. Super chat from G Money. Thank you for the super chat. He says, can you recommend a cool pocket knife for $200 plus or minus as a gift for someone?
Yep, absolutely. Brianna, can you get me fourth knife from the right, the Ultim Scales, fourth knife from the right? Yeah, that one. So this is going to be less than $200. I think this is probably one of the best all-around pocket knives on the market right now. This is a Hogue Deca. This is Hogue's version. It's a United States-made knife. This is an Elishewitz design. It is Hogue's version of the Benchmade Bug Out. It's cheaper than a Bug Out. The steel is better than the Bug Out. And it's only like a quarter of an ounce heavier than the Bug Out. This particular one was like $250 because of the scales and like the design of it. But they come, I think you can get them for like $130. Magna Cut blade steel, super light, excellent to carry, really strong. To me, this is the hottest going, in my opinion, all around really high quality pocket knife right now. I mean, a Bug Out is cool, a Benchmade Bug Out, but I think they're too expensive when you have this.
What is that?
What is what?
Your drink.
It is a completely melted old fashioned.
I was wondering why it looks so strange.
Yeah, it was an old fashioned, but now the cube is gone.
That's weird. Okay.
It wasn't a whole one. I have those big ice cubes, and it wasn't filled up all the way.
All right. We got. Is that everybody?
Yeah, I did it.
A super chat from Vinny's World. Thank you for the super chat, Vinny. He said, happy Thanksgiving and thank you for taking the time to entertain us.
Thank you for being here. I was going to not do it. And then Leslie's like, well, we did it last year. Because by that time, people are just chilling. And somebody was already saying, they're like, yeah, I was in like a food coma and like took a nap and woke up late and here I am, So yeah, it was awesome.
Ooh, I like this one. Super chat from John Winard. Thank you for the super chat, John. He said, I know you're into knives, pens, and pickups, but have you considered user laser etching Zippos?
I have. I would totally laser etch Zippos.
You should try mine.
I mean, tell me what you want and I'll do it. It's not that big a deal. It'd take me, yeah.
We should try it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. No, I would totally do it. We have another website called burntperfect.com. It's an Etsy store. And where we have a few products up there that are personalized stuff. But I would like to do more of it because the more we can keep that equipment running outside of the pickup stuff, the better. And so, yeah. And so, Leslie and I and Brianna have all designed things that we've used the laser for and sold it. We've done custom guitar body. We do bottle openers already. Dump trays for a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Then some other things that came in. Where did I start? Hasma Azar. There's a gnat. Says favorite vacation spot.
Probably some beach.
Somewhere. That's a song.
A beach somewhere.
Yeah. If it's just a generic question, I'm always gonna think beach first.
Probably beach.
Yep.
Yep.
Doc Siltonen said fancy hair for this evening. I don't know about fancy, but it's up.
I feel like, isn't that kind of your default? Like,
This is what I wear to bed.
yeah, I was going to say, isn't that like
It's not fancy.
when you don't want to do anything, you just throw it up in a bun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I get the most compliments too. It's really
It is funny.
odd.
Maybe it's because you're wearing new earrings. Maybe.
94 Dodge dude says recommended knives for kitchen usage.
We just did a video on the Dylan and Leslie channel where we recommended a couple. And there's links and everything over there. I like the Shun stuff. I don't typically recommend the knives that I have in the kitchen because I have like hand forged Japanese stuff and that's kind of a whole thing. But most people really like Shun and Wusthof, and Global. Those would probably be the top three that I can think of. German edges are probably more amicable to more people because you can use them for stuff. Like today, you were cutting some stuff and it was like, yeah, don't use that knife because you'll probably chip the blade, but use this one instead. And going with a more conventional German knife is probably easier for most people. So Wusthof or Shun is Japanese, but they usually have a more Western grind to them.
All right. Charles Wallace says off topic. I bought a Benchmade Adira first MagnaCut blade. Very nice knife. A little on the big side, but is so nice. Thanks.
Yeah, MagnaCut's cool. It's relatively easy to sharpen, relatively. And the edge retention's really good. I think the biggest thing is it's really stainless, like it doesn't rust. So my favorite blade steel is still S45 VN, but MagnaCut's really good too.
Marcia Murray says, I'm very into my routines, so I'm thankful y'all are here.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Don't like to break routine even. I get that, man. It was middle of the afternoon and you're like, I said, you asked me a question.
Yeah,
and
you were
then
like, I'm doing a live stream. And I
and
was
you're
like,
what
time?
day is it? Yeah, like what? Wait a minute, I don't even know what day it is. Like, yeah, it's hard when you screw up because you've been off all week, right?
Yeah.
Your whole week, you've been off.
It's gone by way too fast, though. I was thinking about that. It's kind of depressing that it's gone by this fast.
Yep. Tomorrow is already Friday.
Dom D said, I ordered a Pilot Custom 823 Is that medium nib for my CEO as a Christmas gift. He's really into fountain pens too. I didn't know until I told him I was heading to the Chicago Pen Show.
You, sir, bought him a very nice gift. I do not have one of those, and I want one. I have a custom 74, and I have a Pilot Falcon, but I do not have an 823, and I really want a custom 823 in clear. Because they've been making the clear ones, the smoke ones, and the gray ones in the United States for a long time. Oh, I apologize. The smoke ones and the gray ones in the United States for a long time, but only the clear ones only in Japan. And I was going to buy one from Japan. And then they started importing them to the States just a few months ago. And I just haven't gotten around to buying one because they're not an inexpensive pen. They're not ridiculously expensive, but they're not inexpensive. And I bought a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age, and that took all of my pen savings and discounts and store credit and everything to get that. So that's been my priority for a while. But man, custom 823, that's the jam.
Tim Truetone said, Bree looks just like her mama. Genetics are wild.
She does look just like her mama.
Raven 1727. If you see the letters BTC, what does that stand for you?
BTC?
Yeah. I just think it's Bitcoin. Is that Bitcoin? I don't know. It says, okay, BTC or not to BTC.
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what BTC is. I would assume Bitcoin. I am not Bitcoining. Charles Wallace says, I feel that. Been off all week as well. And yes, it has went by very quickly. Yeah. Dom D said the custom 823 is great for flying since you can shut off the ink reservoir with the piston and don't have to worry about cabin pressure causing a leak.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Opus 88 that does that. And I have a Narwhal that does that.
Yeah. BTC is Bitcoin. Hamza Azar, he had a question earlier, or he was asking about our favorite vacation spot, but he just chimed back in and said, love your videos, Dylan. Always informative. Love from Pakistan.
Oh, wow. Cool, man. Thank you.
That's really cool. It's a little slow in here tonight.
Well, it makes sense. There's not a lot of people either.
Somebody else said they got to go because there's pie.
Well, I would go if there was pie too. I get that. Or you could just go get the pie and come back and share it with us.
I might already be gone.
Yeah.
Pie was calling.
I mean, I get it. I ate pie this week. We had pecan cheesecake today. That was pretty good.
So sweet.
Very sweet. You couldn't eat a very big piece of it.
Mm-hmm. It's just like frozen. Nothing's coming in.
That's all right.
Tim Truetone said, hey, y'all watched the Jack Black Dear Santa movie yet? It's all right.
No, but we did see the preview for the Jack Black Minecraft movie, which looks like it will be a hit with many Minecrafty people.
Yeah.
Because it looked pretty neat.
Yeah, and
I'm not a big Minecraft person, but like the kids were when they were younger, though. Bryson especially.
The kids still are.
Yeah, probably. Oh, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bryson still is.
Well, Mackenzie definitely is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool. Stress relief for folks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a little escape.
Raven 1727 said pumpkin or key lime? Key lime.
Key lime all day.
Brian Eckholm says canned cranberry sauce, yay or nay? Nay.
Nay, cranberry, anything.
I didn't realize it'd have fructose corn syrup in it.
Well, that's how it keeps the.
Don't do that. That's gross. Jeffrey Egan, any new movies coming out you are excited about? I don't know.
Not really. I've kind of been paying attention. I have been watching. I've been paying attention to some of the docs coming out on. I watched the John Benet Ramsey documentation the other day.
Documentation?
Documentary. I was really disappointed with it though, because it was like they don't actually know anything, so I don't know why they made the show. Like,
because it's been so long, like a lot of people don't know about it.
well, and maybe because of genetics, I was thinking about this afterwards because that was my initial thing. Was like, this is dumb. They actually didn't say anything. This was like 3 hours of my life, and they didn't actually tell me anything I didn't already know. But because of they're talking about genetic genealogy and the possibility of using it, maybe it's literally like to get awareness of it up again, so that somebody might be like, oh, I know a guy who knows a guy, and the next thing you know.
Yeah, I just think it's been so long, and there's people that don't know about it. Doc Silton has said we're supposed to get almost 1 meter of snow over the next couple of days, questioning my geographic choices.
Well, I don't question it because that's why I don't live there anymore. And yeah, I have no sympathy for you.
Aw. My goodness.
You can leave. I know you can't, but
Matthew Altamere said, people have been telling me to check out the new series, The Penguin. I want to find time to watch and be able to pay attention. Haven't heard of it.
I haven't heard of it either. I haven't heard of it either. Just recently. So I don't know if you've noticed this. Just recently, I've started watching fiction. Like I rarely watch a show or watch a movie. Like just for the sake of watching a movie. I watched that stupid Don Johnson movie last night. Like,
which was so creepy.
It was actually really good, but it was like
when's the last time you've seen Don Johnson in something? And
I didn't even recognize it.
I was watching a show also, but it's old. And it made a joke about the way this guy was wearing his jacket, that he had to Don Johnson it. And so I was literally laughing. So I'm already thinking about Don Johnson and Miami Vice. And I literally cut it off right after that. And I was about to get up and I look at the TV and I'm like, dude, are you really watching Don Johnson? Like, what is the chances of that?
Yeah. And he was actually really good.
And you didn't even know it was him.
No, I didn't even recognize him because he's so old. Like,
he is old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of old, didn't we see the dude from New Kids on the Block today on the
I didn't. You did.
On TV, and I was like, holy crap, he looked like an old man, because he is an old man.
Vinny's World said that's literally why my parents left Toronto. Doc's laughing at you, probably not having sympathy for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeffrey Egan said that seems to be the trend with
oh, nice.
most documentaries and reality investigation shows. They don't seem to solve anything.
I mean, if it's a solved case, it's cool to hear about all the stuff that went into it. The John Benet Ramsey thing, there was a lot of really creepy people involved in that. And a lot of the
inappropriate comments.
And the suspects, oh yeah. Like the
gross.
Yes. How they talked about people and how they talked about, yes, very
the pageant girls and
yes.
The parents of pageant girls. Like there was a lot of assumptions being made about, and like, where's your brain at to even think that?
Yeah. You're a creepy old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Marcia Murray said, I want to watch Wednesday, but I just think Jen Ortega is hot.
Well, she is. Yeah. I don't really care about Wednesday, but Brianna's dealing with puppy drama right now. Well, what time is it? It's almost 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
A little slower tonight, which is fine.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Still a pretty good crowd.
Hang on a second.
Very active snake today.
Yeah, he has been out and about and hanging out and cruising around and doing all kind of stuff. Usually this one's really kind of reclusive. We have 3 of them. And this one is kind of the most reclusive. But he's the last few days, he's been out and about and cool and doing all kind of fun stuff. So his name is Weiland because he's named after Scott Weiland.
Oh, don't like the mic.
He doesn't like the microphone. There you go. Well, I guess thanks for hanging out, everybody. Even though it's a holiday and you could be doing other things, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And I guess we will see you probably on Monday. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern time in the morning because we're going to do a Black Friday live stream.
Cool.
We'll see you then.